Howdy, gang. Live again. Got some updated information for you. I'm going to get a few minutes because I know people are going to start joining pretty quick. A lot of new followers coming in on this whole topic, which I can't say I'm completely upset about that. But I'm going to go over some other stuff like my report earlier about the FBI being involved. I've got some new info from Boots on the Ground from Grant, also from another source who talked directly to a host at MGM Properties about what's going on there and how that's all going out. So this is interesting stuff. It is not going to stop anytime soon. This is a drawn out process. Hey there, Tammy. How you doing? First one to arrive, Tammy. So, and there's Michelle. Look, see, I knew you guys were just waiting to hear more info on this because it's crazy how this is still going on. This is not a little problem. You know, we always want to think about, oh, it'll be quick, it'll be fixed quick, and all that. Apparently, there was a setback today. Quite a major setback from what my opinion would be. So I heard from Grant today. Hey there, Melissa. How are you doing there? Aloha from Morgan. Man, I got a whole bunch of people. Brenda, KF, how you guys doing? All right, so updates going on. Step backwards has occurred. So I've heard from Grant, who has boots on the ground. He is in Vegas right now. He's at the casinos right now. So DJ Digital, I'm going to get to that just in a second. So here is what is going on right now. The key card system works. You can get into your room. There is no way to look up reservations. There is no way to check in. So you cannot check in at all. The credit card systems are working in some areas, not in others, like the ATM machines. The ticket kiosks are up and down. So my report earlier of, I don't know what kind of boots, damn it, Steve. Yeah, Steve, what kind of boots does Grant have? I don't know. He's probably got some kind of shoes on. Hopefully they're sensible because he's walking around Vegas. Hey there, Kevin. DJ Digital, a Las Vegas slot technician. Great to have you here. I don't know if you're right there, but apparently at least half the machines are down. Some more at every casino, every MGM property, at least half the slots are down. The ticket system is splotchy. They are hand paying pretty much everybody. Like they are literally just paying out cash to people. Everything is by hand. So you go to check in, they are writing that stuff down to check you in. They have someone who's actually writing your information down. They have zero access to anything. This really sounds like it's very much different than what we were hearing earlier, which was things were looking up. Things were like, actually improving. And that was hopeful. Gave you a lot of actual hope that, oh, everything's going great. And then it seems like everything just sort of tumbled down. I don't know what that means on the back end. I wish I did. I wish I had a friend who worked at MGM in the, IT community so I could say, hey, what's going on? Quick one from Peyton. Thank you, Peyton. Yeah, I did make 3K today. A lot of it's due to this story. And thank you, everyone, for your subscription and coming to my channel. If you're not subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got a lot of great info. You can go back and see all my great stuff and the future stuff to come. I'm not going to toot my own horn. So another update from an actual host, a friend of the channel, was going to Vegas this weekend. They called their host on their cell phone because their actual phone does not work. Their office phone does not work. They cannot email them. That doesn't work. So they called them on their cell phone and actually said, can you access the free play? And so they said no. They said, we cannot access the free play. The player system, while the cards are in and reading and they are tracking, you cannot access the free play. You cannot charge stuff to your room. So that means food and beverage credits also not working. So this is a huge deal that is now we're on the third day now. This is getting to be serious because we're coming into a new weekend. So midweek is always the best time to go to Vegas if you're not wanting the big crowds. The weekend is packed. And that's what we're coming into. Tomorrow's the halfway point of the week. If things don't start to improve quick, I really don't know what's going to happen when those Thursday and Friday crowds start arriving. It could get pretty serious pretty quick, especially if they're checking people in by hand. If there's no, um, if there's no um, free play, if there's no credit system, that means they probably can't issue new cards either. So that means no new people coming in. This is getting to be to the point where I'm just like, okay, so what does work? The key cards to the rooms work, but no one can really know who's in which room. There's no way to look that system up. The host that was at one property was contacting for the other property because they were staying at a different property and said, I cannot check your reservation. I cannot even pick up the phone and call them. He would have to get up off of his desk, drive over to another property and physically talk to the person, but they still can't access the free play system. So this is pretty bad. Something else I wanted to share with you guys, because I'm sure you're hearing a lot of it. Ransomware. What is ransomware? So I'm going to break it down for you. Any of my IT guys are in here. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the regular person that just hears ransomware and all you know is that it's asking for a ransom. So ransomware is the term given to we're going to call it a virus. It's not specifically a virus, but we're going to call it a virus, to where you have a malicious entity implanted this code, however it may be. It may be what's called a drive-by. It could be at a website that you just happen to click on and bam, you get it downloaded to you. Could come in an email, could be someone's USB drive. They have a malicious file on there and that gets implanted in the system and then it goes that way. Most common ransomware works with encryption. So encryption is coding a file to where you cannot read it anymore without a key. So imagine this occurring through an entire corporation. Imagine like the biggest library you've ever seen, and you can't read any of the books because they're all scattered. That is all complete nonsense. You have to have a key to read it. So what these malicious entities are doing is they are then demanding money. There's always a demand for money. They're not in it for the money. They're just really just being dicks. So, but that's not what's going on. They're demanding money. In this case, it's going to be a lot of money. The more it affects someone, the larger it is. The company I work for, the last ransomware attack we had was several years ago, and they wanted $65,000. We didn't pay it because of the backup system yours truly actually works on, and we were able to restore without too much loss of data, and it was acceptable loss of data. So that's what we went with. In MGM's case, now we're not 100% sure it is ransomware, but we're pretty close to being sure. Apparently, this is rumor now, Caesars a few weeks ago, or even a couple months ago, had an issue where they were dealing with ransomware. Their ransomware actually was a $30 million price tag that the rumor is they paid. And so they were able to be okay. They had their payroll system locked up for 2 weeks, the timekeeping system locked up, but nothing customer facing. This was all back end facing. MGM's a little different. So if we want to speculate here, we could speculate that either one, they didn't pay and it locked everything up, or two, they're in the process of trying to clean it up without paying. Really kind of hard to say at this point. This is something we won't know until that FBI report comes out and we're actually given more information. So the idea being behind ransomware is you pay the fee, they give you the key, you unlock your data. You don't pay the fee, they don't unlock your data, but then they'll dump your data out on some public accessible forum. The last time it was Telegram. That actually happened to MGM, I believe about a year ago. They had a bunch of data that was dumped out onto Telegram. And this is kind of open up to competitors, open up to everybody. So this is a big deal. Ransomware is the number one threat that is facing pretty much every entity, person, corporation, whatever. So it's kind of a lot. So that kind of threat to a company is a big deal. So these kind of things really do affect all of us. They can affect you personally. Now, you personally, you might get a bill for $100. What's your data worth? That's what everything is what's your data worth? I know my data is I'm going to tell you a quick story. about losing my phone my last trip to Vegas. I left it in an Uber. Didn't realize it for about 20 minutes until it was time to order another Uber, and I realized I didn't have my phone. The paralyzed fear I had was crazy. Do you know what you have to do to open a ticket with Uber? For one, you got to know your password. You got to know which email address you signed up on. I didn't know either of those. I had no clue. I didn't even know a phone number to call. Luckily, someone let me use the phone. I let me use their phone. I called my phone. The Uber driver answered and said, "I have your phone." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I am so relieved." My blood pressure went down probably 100 points right at that point. It was horrible. So that goes to show you what data is worth to you. Data is worth everything. All right, we're going to take a couple of questions here from, let's see, we got Proud Monkey. If they put a Trojan in and waited until after they did a backup, could it be they went to the update and reload the Trojan? Absolutely, this could happen. So a Trojan is what it just sounds like, a Trojan horse. Comes in as a legitimate file, but actually it's something not. So what the biggest fear is when you're doing it. So like I said, I'm a backup administrator. That's one of the things I do. Data protection is a big deal to me. So if you were to back up the data, now some of these can stay dormant for quite a long time. So if you have that backed up data sitting there and then you go weeks, let's say weeks, that Trojan is still sitting there. Now it's on your week's worth of backup. All your backups are now garbage because you can't trust them. You might be able to trust some files, but you can't trust the whole thing. So that is a possibility where they're sitting at right now, is now they just reloaded the Trojan back on. My first instinct is still that they originally took down the systems in order to clean them. So they basically went through the player's server and they checked to make sure there was no keys on that. So when a ransomware attack happens, you can find little traces. Actually, here, I'm going to put this up right here from Steve. So if there is a ransomware, somebody is asking to identify it. So here's always the key in ransomware. There's a file somewhere that shows you how to contact the person and how to pay them. This is a big deal. This is a business that these entities are in a business of taking your data, ransoming it back to you. All they want to do is get paid, and they're going to let you know how to pay them. Generally, it's in Bitcoin. A lot of times, companies will go back and forth, and that is also why the FBI gets involved in this, to handle a lot of that negotiation of, hey, prove you have the data, prove you can unlock it, and they'll unlock some data and send it back to you and say, look, see, here's your data, we unlocked it. So that is sort of a large thing of, you can find out who it is, but you don't know a person. You know, maybe like an online tag, you know, like Hacker Cool 92, whatever it is. So these are things like that. So when we hear about ransomware, we know there's somebody out there who's going to get paid. The whole problem is, are they going to get paid? So this does actually help you as well find that person and find the source. So a lot of times you can cut off what's called the trigger. So if you block the website that they're using, then that means that it cannot phone home and can't be activated most of the time, not always. Oh, here we go for Brenda. Thank you, Brenda, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. I'm trying my best to give you guys these updates. This is something I've like I love Vegas and I love IT, so it like really kind of works together. So I can't beat that. So it's just, it's awesome. And this is from DJ Digital. He's an Uber driver, and we will bring it back to you. I appreciate that so much. I gave that Uber driver not only a tip on the app, but also a $50 tip in cash, because it's your data. It's worth everything. It is, cannot tell you what data is worth to you, because it's your data, and it's super important. Let me go with another question here. I see one. Here we go. Back from Rob Monkey. This is crazy. I hope they are upfront about what happened, but understand why they wouldn't be. So most companies aren't going to be completely honest with you, because it's egg on the face. It shows that we had a breach. We were responsible for a breach. No matter which way you cut it, someone was responsible at MGM for this breach, whether it was somebody who just didn't do their cybersecurity training and clicked on a bum link or got an email. Oh, I just clicked on that. I didn't know what it was. Well, you're the problem. These are what IT people hate, is the people who just, oh, I just clicked on it. So, but we will get it. Now the FBI is involved, a report will be issued. So that report most likely is made to the public, and you're able to see what happened. A lot of obviously details about specifics on the player security, specifics on paybacks and all that won't be shared, but you at least have a good idea for what's going to happen. And for Larry, the last hacker claimed to have breached their data leak monitoring service provider, Nightlion Security. Oh, that's a good security company. If you have access to third-party providers network, how much damage could you do? A lot. Imagine a third-party security provider. The company I'm used to dealing with a lot is Akamai. They are amazing. And had the company I worked for not had them, it would essentially been opening a front door, leaving it open, and just allowing anyone to come in. So if you can breach through there, most likely you have pretty much an open door from that point. There's going to be some issues going through a couple of firewalls, all that. So that is, kind of a huge deal there that, yeah, the third party, not really responsible, but their vulnerabilities could lead to even more vulnerabilities. And also from Clara Joe here, did they affect Louisiana casinos? I always get this wrong too. Affect and effect. Yeah. No, this is only MGM properties, but it is all the MGM properties in the United States. There are no reports that this is affecting Macau at all. So that is a huge relief, at least to the rest of the world's MGM properties. But all the U.S. properties are still featuring issues. I'm going to bring this up real quick. Everybody see this going on because this is like, whoa. The website has changed. They used to have all these numbers down there, and now the numbers are gone. My thought is that they are overwhelmed with the concierges being called, so they remove those numbers off there. The app system is still down, so you can't even get to the app. It's shocking me how long this is going on. I am extremely upset that someone did this to my MGM. I know that sounds pretty selfish, but at the same time, we all have plans to go to Vegas at some point, some sooner than others. And the fact that they could still be doing with this in 3 weeks when I arrive, or even this weekend when other people arrive, this is kind of shocking. If they can't get to the reservation system, you can't check in. No one can make new reservations. They're doing stuff on paper. Any company that has taken the step back in this day and age to paper ledgers, it's bad. It's seriously bad. Oh, Trace the Ace. Canceled my flight on Monday. I was going to Bellagio. Trace, that is probably a good idea, especially if you can get that money back. I do really feel that they're maybe a little bit deeper in than we originally thought, because we kind of heard on yesterday that everything was looking better. Things were brightening up. Systems are coming back online. And now it seems like there's a step back somewhere. Maybe they were just got things up and running for a little bit and then they fell backwards. I don't know. But I think that's the best idea. Get that money back from your flight. They don't know that you didn't check in. There's no way they're going to charge you. Let me comment on this real quick. If you have reservations and you don't go, you will not be penalized for not going. They cannot look it up, call when the systems are back up and said, hey, I didn't show because your systems were offline and I couldn't call anyone. They will 100% understand. You will not be charged anything else like that. And from KF Achung, I'm going to go with Achung. I'll be there next Monday, but luckily not staying in MGM properties. So you're going to be okay. This is only MGM. I have not heard anything else on anyone else except those rumors for Caesars that they had an issue with their payroll system. So that's really interesting. Man, DJ Digital, you're everywhere, dude. I'm going to be there for Global Gaming Expo G2E from the 8th through the 12th of October. Hopefully I come see some of your stuff there. let me know where you're at. I like going by CEO. Let's from Motivational Moxie, Dave. How would you recommend a school to go to for IT or to learn the ropes? So while schools are great, I definitely recommend going through an accreditation system, going through a class, depending on what your focuses want to be. If it's going to be security, you're going to want like um, a CCIC from Cisco. That's a big one. There are a ton of different certificates. You don't have to have a degree to work in IT, but if you're not going to have a degree, you definitely need to have certificates to show that you know the knowledge. Those vary from anywhere from like A plus, which is basic, to Network Plus, all the way up to a huge certification like a Cisco certification. So definitely look into that. A lot of times there's a demand. If you go get a Cisco certification, especially a high up one like that, they're ready to hire you as you walk out the door of that class. I have seen it happen. Go back down here. Oh, you got a credit. Excellent. That's great. Great info that you got a credit and that was comp, so it's not going to charge you anything. That's extremely important. I don't like anyone losing money. I hate it. Let me stop sharing that screen there. If you have time, it might make a good video if you have tips for people affected who don't know what they should do next. Larry, do you mean if they get a ransomware or if they're in Vegas right now? Clarify that one for me. I'll get back to you. And B. Buckler, have a flight Sunday. Looks like I'm going to stay at Planet Hollywood. What was that, Vidara? Way to dodge a bullet on that one. I like Planet Hollywood. Planet Hollywood's fun. I'm not super a fan of when it's really hopping, just because, I'm old now and I want quiet too. But I do like going through there when there's a lot of people and it's fun. When their pleasure pit is on fire, those kind of things. I like a lot of the machines. They have some great top dollar, great IGT machines from back in the day. Some of them are even quarter. Top dollar, triple double diamond with cheese, King Cash. They've got all those there. Same thing at Horseshoe right down the street. Oh, Super Jazz, welcome. Thank you, Tammy. Appreciate that. That is true. Tammy, my great moderator there. She does a great job every time. Front desk probably pocketing a lot of $20 trucks that no system is saying they can't give a sweet upgrade. You are 100% right on that. So imagine you're not bound by the reservation system. No one knows what you booked. You could say, yeah, I booked a penthouse. Okay, I can't argue with that, except, show me the email that says it. That'd be about the only thing. But it's really kind of interesting if you were to tip someone now, how high could they get you? Because if you got to think about you're a front-end staff and you don't know how long this is going to go. I mean, this could go a very amount of time. They may end up shutting the casino down and people go without paychecks. So maybe now's the time to get some tips. I don't know. That's just speculation on my part. I got to definitely say I would be very much tipping right now to get that really nice room upgrade. I mean, like, I want to get a Sky Suite at MGM, Grand, something like that. Or a Skyloft at Aria. Okay, so Larry, video for guests or people with current reservation. In my experience, people never know what to do when travel plans are impacted. This is true. Okay, I gotcha. Very true. I'm going to try to think if I can get something done tomorrow, and let's see if it happens. But yeah, the best advice right now I'm going to give people is if you still want to go. There's operations are going on. It may not be 100%, but you can get a room. You can eat places. You just can't charge your room. You won't get free play. But I'm guessing that they're probably going to give you some pretty good stuff right now, especially in the neighborhood of maybe a rate off your room, because they really don't know what amount you booked at either. They don't have any idea. So you could probably ask for a lot. Now, the comps are going to be difficult because there's no system to track it, but I'm sure they can handwrite out a certificate for a free buffet or even a free dinner somewhere. Never hurts to ask. But if you do have reservations and you don't want to go, deal with your airline first. Don't worry about contacting someone at MGM because they have no way to look it up anyway. If you really want to reach out to the concierge, go for it. They're probably able to help you a little bit. They'll probably write down your name or something, but don't overly worry about that. Worry about your airline first. I'll see if I can get something out, Larry. It's going to be difficult this week with all these updates going on and my regular job that I still have to do and make sure that those backups are good now because I'm a little bit on the freaking out side over this because this is what I do. And when a company has a large attack like this, it really makes me think about, okay, when's it going to happen to me? When's the next time I'm going to have to be in the same situation as those MGM guys? Because that kind of stuff scares the crap out of me because I hate those 24, 48-hour days. And a lot of those guys right now at MGM, they're working on that 48th hour. And I can tell you from experience, your decision-making goes down to the toilet fast. It really goes down fast at this time frame. And there's the point you get where you're so tired you can't sleep and all these things. It just gets bad. And Club Mike V, dishing out comps like we've gone back to the 20th century. Mike, back when it was a good thing, when you wanted a comp, you could just ask at the table for it. You could just ask someone and they would be like, let me look at something. You could be at the table games playing and you're playing long enough to where the pit boss realizes that you've been playing a long time and you just ask for something. Most of the time, they were going to give it to you if it was in their power. Free buffets were super easy to get back in the day. Room comps were super easy to get back in the day. Now it's all in the computer. The computer is telling you everything now. How much you're betting, how much you're losing an hour, what's your cash out, what's your cash in, what's your theoretical loss, what's your, average bet, everything. Now none of that's there. So they're essentially right back to where we used to be, where you could just go to someone and say, hey, I'm a little hungry. I've been playing a while. Can I get a buffet? And here's your buffet comp. So that's definitely something that's a good point. It's right back where we want it to be again. I'm not a fan of how much they've gone into this digital age where everything is the computer. You ask a pit boss now for something, they can't give it. They have to check with the computer and see what it says because the computer is doing all the math for them. And so now we're back to where the computer's not doing the math. There's no, player tracking. So interesting to see. This one from Arnold. Imagine if this is still going on and the culinary people go on psych. Oh crap, what a mess. Yeah, then there's no food and no play. And hopefully that culinary strike doesn't happen. I imagine there's still someone working on that, even though all this other stuff's going on. But if you hit that at the same time, just wow. Absolutely incredible how that's going to work out because it's the perfect storm. I just watched that the other day for like the umpteenth time. This is the storm coming off of Sable Island and this one coming off of Greenland. And that's what it's going to be. Oh, let's not think about that too hard. Wonder if security affected people be in there messing with machines. No one's going to get in there messing with the machines. It's definitely not going to be any more of an advantage to anyone to try to get into a machine right now. You still have to have a specific USB key to change a machine. So that generally is held by the Casino Gaming Commission. They bring that with them. If it is on site, it is in a lockbox that only they know the key for. So all these things are still there to secure the machines. There's no way that the player percentages can be changed, the payback percentages, anything that affects gameplay can actually be changed on the machine. So most likely the reason that they shut down all those machines is because they're wanting to make sure that they're focused on what can work. And a lot of those machines have area-wide progressives. They're linked together. And so any of those kind of things, you kind of want to just take those off the table. So I definitely can see that as the case. And from Firefly, it was better without computers doing comps math, much better. I 100% agree with you, Firefly. It was way better back in the day. it was to the point of where this kind of situation would not have impacted because the pit bosses and everyone else were responsible for that themselves. And Jane, is the slot machine working now? Yes and no. So here's the great thing about loving old school slot machines. All the old school machines are working just fine, except for the Tito system, the ticket in, ticket out. The old school slots are 100% unaffected with this. It's only the new video style games, the penny machines, um, all your Dragon Links, Lightning Links, Dollar Storms, all those games are affected because they are connected on the back end for those different majors and everything else and progressives and all that. They do a lot more player reporting, and so they are a little bit more network connected. You still have to go to the physical machine to change the odds of it and everything, but you can do a lot on the back end for your other changes. Nothing that affects player payback or gameplay, but some of the other changes. Like you can change the domination, you can do all this stuff. You can put all these things into queue and then go to the machine and actually do it. But there's nothing that you can actually affect remotely. So that's definitely good. And this one from Izzy. They should give us all gold to both stab us for our suffering. Oh, hi, Mr. Dave. Thank you for all the information. I appreciate giving it to all, Izzy. Definitely love making you guys aware of this stuff, keeping you guys informed. You know, that's why I started this channel, was to share my knowledge. Super happy to be here and let you guys know all this stuff. Make sure you hit subscribe. We're up to 50 people. My best live ever. Hit that subscribe button, all you new people. Really appreciate that. They're probably not going to do this. Izzy is giving us gold status or anything else like that. But I would say that anyone who is affected, if you do go and you are directly affected by this, there's probably going to be something good for you in your comps. At least I really hope so. I really hope that they would do some pain and suffering in the form of free play, in the form of, some free rooms, something like that. Something that doesn't cost them anything. And Sister Yoshi joining us. Hi, Sister Yoshi. Thanks for coming by. Is video and speech linked up? You mean by cameras and the system? Clarify that for me, Tammy. I'll get back to you on that one. Yep, that is correct. Mark did release a video yesterday that all the slot machines, because they are isolated, are 100% okay. You cannot affect them remotely. You have to be physically at the machine to do a lot of those changes, and you have to actually physically have like a USB key in some of the newer games, some of the older games as well. But the really old games had what are called EPROMs. They're little chips that you had to drop in and pull out in order to change the odds. I've actually seen that over on Mark's Home Slots channel. Definitely check that out if you're looking forward to that, because he's got some great info on that. From Buckler, wonder if comps will be tighter or better after this. Oh, if we're going to get into talking about what could be, this would be a huge point to earn back player confidence. You all heard my thoughts on MGM's change to their rewards system and how it's just not worked out for the player. It works out for the very high-end player, but it does not work out for any of the mid-tier players or lower-tier players. This could be an instance where they rethink a lot of that system to get confidence back into MGM. When you're a player and you are faced with, is this casino safe? Can this casino pay me? These are kind of things that make you think twice. And if I were anyone that they wanted to ask at MGM Marketing, I would say this is the perfect time to undercut the other casinos on comps, on deals, earn back that player confidence, because you give people some free play or some free rooms, they're forgiving a lot of stuff and really getting there really quick too. So that's a good point. I like that a lot. I would totally accept it. I mean, absolutely, right? I'm not proud. I'll take free money from you guys. I have no problem telling anyone at MGM that the best thing you can do in this situation is to bring back that player confidence in MGM. Make people completely comfortable with coming back, saying, we're fine, we're taking care of you, We had an issue. We admit it, and here's your great things. I definitely like that. And Frank the Tank, finally catch alive. I appreciate you being here, Frank. Thank you so much for stopping by. And yes, I too like freebies. Uh, I am horrible at any convention or conference or pretty much anywhere by just grabbing stuff. Just ooh, free stuff. Ooh, free stuff. I mean, right here, a USB key from an old company I used to deal business with. They had a bunch of these laying on down. I just grabbed a handful of them. It was 8 gigs. That was about a lot back in the day. I realize it's not a lot now. And from Linda K, I'm happy playing at my local. Linda, be so fortunate that you have a local casino to go to that is not experiencing these problems. And anyone else, if you have a local experience, definitely visit that local casino this week and tell them how grateful you are you're not having issues. And Trace the Ace, my local is Borgata. You are lucky to have Borgata as your local place. Going back this week to check it out. Definitely let me know if you can. Anyone out there, if you have any information that you want to share, email it to me, GambletheGlobe@gmail.com. I will definitely either use your first name or not at all, depending on what you want to do. I am absolutely 100% wanting to know what you have to say and what you have to share. And I will share it with everybody because the more we all know together, the better off. One from, hey, there's Alan. Hey there, Alan. How you doing? Thank you. Appreciate it, Alan. I know you guys are right there. If you guys happen to get out, let me know. I'd really appreciate that. Am I going to G2E? Well, of course I'm going to G2E, Sister Yoshi. You better be too. Got my ticket and everything. I'm going to be there from the 8th through the 12th. And I'll definitely be going to the expo each day, but definitely not as hard as I did last year. I went really hard and I missed out on more socializing with the other YouTube channels. And we had so many there. And I really feel like that was a huge loss on my part, was not contacting more. I've actually talked to NJ Slot Guy quite a bit on this topic. And we both believe that we should have been hanging out with each other more and making our slot community stronger in that regards. So it's definitely good. I can visualize your hands got in the cookie jar. Would not be the first time. I have definitely been caught many times taking stuff off tables. And the best part is I will make solid eye contact the whole time and just move my hand like I'm being coy. Like they can't even see this other hand. So yeah, that's me. Excellent. Looking forward to seeing you there. We got to try to film together. I'm going to get you on a 3-reel and get you off those buffaloes. I now know she's cursing me out. So, Dave, would you accept a job with MGM IT Security with the stipulation you no longer be able to play with them as a gambler? Oh, my absolute dream job would be to work at a casino. I would definitely want to work somewhere in the design or maybe the layout of the casino, something like that. Working with IT would be an awesome job, but not if I have to give up to gamble. Yeah. Plus, I couldn't actually work in Vegas because I'd be broke in a week. I would be like working paycheck to paycheck, sleeping at work. Not that I have a gambling problem, but I mean, when you're there all the time, that gambling problem is going to come out. But if MGM were to call me up and offer me a job, I'd have to hear the dollars. I have to hear the positives. But if it meant I could no longer gamble with them, I'd have to pass. There's no way I could give up the property I worked so hard, maintaining my status, building up my comps for. That would be a deal breaker for me. Now, of course, the dollar value would definitely change that. And it would have to be like, is it all casinos or just some? I don't know. That's a good question, man. That's a hard question. That's a super hard question. How do you get a casino host? I go to Vegas 3 times a year for the past 11 years. I always stay at the Golden Nugget downtown, and I get free rooms, but I have not yet to get a host. So, Frank, it's no huge secret. The easiest way to get a host is gamble. The more you gamble, the more chance you're going to get a host. Now, I'm not encouraging you to gamble to get a host. But if you're wanting a host, then your dollar value your coin is going to have to increase. And I'm not going to just make up a number, but I have heard that those numbers over on the MGM side are around 100,000 of coin in over a course of however long. Now, the more you have coin in over the shorter trip, so if you're only 3 days and you do 100,000 coin in, you're getting a host. Golden Nugget is probably going to be one of the toughest places downtown to get a host because a lot of high rollers still go to the Golden Nugget. They still go to that classic property, and Golden Nugget is definitely known for how to do that. So that's a big deal. Now, if you do feel you do, here's a great tip from Steve. Just call and ask. You can go by the host office at any time and say, rate me. I want to be rated. I think I need a host. And they'll evaluate your play and they'll see about it. And they'll see what they can do. Just like Steve said, they'll evaluate our play. I've often thought about this again, except the problem is every time I get a host, I get a bad host. There are good hosts and there are bad hosts, and I've had a history of bad hosts. That's just the way it goes sometimes. And from Jane, which MGM property would you use your free play on? I bounce around quite a bit. I definitely go to Park MGM to use my free play because they have my favorite top dollar machine, which is a $10 denomination in the high limit room. They also have a $5 denomination, a $1. I'll go to already use free play because they have a great selection of 3 real machines, also New York, and MGM Grand. So pretty much go where you like the machines that you want to play. That's the most important part, is go where you want them to do. And here we go. Let's do one more here. Oh, and Sasha. Hey there, Sasha. Glad you could make it. Well, yeah, you have a great host, and I've heard how great he is, but I have not. What makes a bad host? Here we go. What makes a bad host? So a bad host. So I've gone through player communication specialists and hosts, and I can tell you what makes a bad one is where I am constantly emailing them. I have to call them to get things done. I have to, just to get my offers that I could book myself, I have to, like jump through hoops. So I have gotten to the point where I would book my own stuff and then tell them, hey, I've already booked everything. Can you get me a limo? Can you get me a ride to and from the airport? Oh, no, we can't do that. Sorry. We have other people in town. So I just gave up pretty much. I stopped trying for a host just because I've had such bad ones. I know there's great ones out there. I definitely don't qualify for those great ones, but that's pretty much it. Linda K, $200 free play is not enough to drive from San Diego. For sure it would not be, Linda. I agree with price of gas and everything. They'd have to at least, up that a little bit for you. Now, here in Texas, we have Louisiana casinos that will actually pay your gas. So when you go in, they give you a gas card of whatever denomination, plus your free play, plus your room comps, all that. So definitely different things. And again, Linda, it never hurts to ask. You can always do that. And thanks for the great update, putting up with all our comments anytime, guys. I love this so much. Like, this is why I started this channel, to talk to you guys, deal with everybody, and bring you knowledge of whatever I can. This is kind of like my bread and butter, is just letting everybody know the stuff that's in this head, the stuff that's been accumulated for the last 30 years. 30. Oh my God. 30 years. No, change that. 28 years. There we go. Haha. I'm not that old. 28 years. Brain's a little slow though. Okay, one more question here for Gambling Gary. Dave, I live in Tampa, Florida. Hard Rock is my local casino, but I seem to get more comp rooms at Vegas casinos that I go to every 2 times a year. Is that lack of competition at Hard Rock? Absolutely. Hard Rock has no incentive to offer you anything because they own the market. There's a couple of little one-off casinos around Tampa, but Hard Rock is the biggest game in town. Also, you may go there often, and so they feel they don't have to give you as much. So if you were to change that to where instead of going there maybe once a month, change that to going there once a quarter, you're probably going to see those offers changed. but Vegas wants you to come back. They know it's a drive, they know it's a flight for you and everything else, so they're going to be a little bit more sweeter. And where in Texas are you? I'm in San Antonio. I'm in Fort Worth. Stacy's high limit slot. She's just a little bit north of me. Casanova slots just a little bit east of me, and Mark's just a little bit south of me. So there's a bunch of the slot channels right in this area. For Brenda, asked the question earlier. Can you give me an answer to that? Okay, hold on, Brenda. Let me scroll back up here. Let me see if I can find what your question was. Sorry, I missed that. Scrolling. Brenda, can you ask that again and I'll get to it? I promise. Totally missed that, but I'm going to answer Brenda's question here real quick. And that's pretty much it for this live stream. I'm going to keep giving you guys more updates as I can. I am really interested in to know how this is going to play out for MGM, especially the fact that I will be there in roughly 3 weeks and that other people are going to be there within the week. I am very hopeful that they'll be able to get stuff back and running really soon. I am kind of shocked that they haven't already gotten it back up and running already. I would have thought this would have been a 1 day down and they would have been back up. So it's kind of disconcerting that they're still having issues. I have confidence. I definitely have confidence in their IT staff. I have been where those guys are. I know how bad it can be. And I just really hope that they're getting some sleep. They're getting some rest. Another thing I hope is that there is somebody that is supporting that staff. Their boss should be there, and their boss should be absolutely encouraging them to get rest, be the cheerleader, running defense for them. I hope that somebody has a blank check and they have written out post-dated bonuses for the next 3 weeks. You know, like if you stay here until Wednesday, you get this. If you stay here until this day, you get that, and so on and so on. So I hope that that is occurring for that IT staff because I have been there before and I know I've thought about quitting. So when that kind of thing happens, I'm just like, okay, why am I still here? When you're working on your 3rd day straight with no sleep, no eating, and you are essentially just haggard, it is seriously the point of where you want to quit. So I really hope that they are doing something for those guys to give them incentive to stay with it, making sure they're recognized, making sure they're appreciated, because IT staff generally is very not appreciated. So it was definitely one of those things you want to see. All right, Brenda, I did not see your comment. I scrolled back pretty far. If you want to email me, GambletheGlobe@gmail.com, I will definitely answer that question on the next live stream. I looked for it and I could not find it. But yeah, the system is still down, Linda. Recap for Linda here. The system is still down. We are waiting on new info, but pretty much it is down. The people can get in their rooms. Half the machines at most properties are shut down. So anywhere from a quarter to half the machines are shut down. One property, I can't remember if it was New York, or Ario. They were all shut down, but I don't know if that's still the case or if that was earlier info. You cannot use free play. You cannot use room charges. So there's no food and beverage credit. They can't check anything. They can't check reservations. Phone systems are down between properties. All this stuff. And what I said, you just asked that. Nah, have to see what the pay is and if I can gamble or not. That'd be a big thing. Oh, and then Tammy's nice enough to put that email address up. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate you. Big shout out to Tammy being a great moderator for me. She is awesome. She's got something big coming. I hope I can share that soon. And give Tammy a big kickstart to her new venture. So we'll see how that all goes. And good point from Proud Monkey. Don't click on unknown email links. 100% true. Thank you guys. I appreciate you all. More updates coming. Look for those shorts. Definitely hit that subscribe button at bell to stay notified. I will talk to you soon. Really don't click on those emails, and gamble smart, gamble safe. Good night, y'all.